Is it bath or is it bath? Is it scone or is it scone? Is it bitter, better, better, and butter? Or is it bitter, better, batter, butter? I don't know. Hi, I'm Mr. B. Welcome back to another one from English Essentials. And today we're going to be diving into registers, accents, and how to speak properly. Before we get into the video, please remember to smash that like button, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any amazing content. Let's get straight into it. So let's talk about accents for a second. So your accent is the way in which you pronounce your words. It's the seasoning on your speech. It adds a bit of flavor, it adds a spice. And luckily, we all have an accent. There is no such thing as I don't have an accent. You do have an accent. It's just where you're from that dictates your accent. So there's a couple of things that decide on what your accent is like. The most important thing is your location, where you grew up. And if you grew up in different places, there's a good chance you have lots of different inflections. You might have lots of different influences that change the way in which you pronounce certain words. I'm going to attempt during this video to do lots of different accents. And if I butchered it, please let me know politely in the comments. And if you think I've done a great job, let me know as well. I'm not a linguist, but I've been told that I can do one or two accents, so we'll see how we go. So for example, here comes the first accent. If you're from Scotland, you might say, "Hi, my name's Mike, I'm Scottish." If you're from Liverpool, it might be a little bit higher. Say, "Hi, my name's Mike, I'm from Liverpool." If you're from slightly further down, you might speak with a received pronunciation, especially if you're from the south, and you might say, "Hi, my name's Mike, I'm from London." And depending on where you are in London, you might have a slightly different accent, and you might say, "Hi, my name's Mike." All of those things are based on the location in which you grew up in, and those influences from that different location. The second thing that influences the way in which you speak is going to be your upbringing. It'll be based on the way in which your parents speak, and how your parents speak and the language that they use will help shape the way in which you speak as well, and that will help to shape your accent. So for example, if you speak two languages at home, you'll notice that you will often blend the words. You might speak Spanglish. One thing that affects your language is your education. So if you went to, for example, boarding school, you might speak with a particular accent of the people that were at that boarding school. But also, if your parents were constantly picking you up on the way in which you pronounce certain words, that will also shape the way in which you speak as well. But so this is not supposed to be confused with register. Your register is the formality in which you speak. Now, depending on where we are, we use different types of registers to communicate with different types of people. The register you use with your mum is going to be very different to the register you use with your friends. It's like wearing a different outfit depending on who you're talking to. If you are swearing, you're using a lower register. And if you are using really sophisticated vocabulary that is very formal, you're using a higher register. And so we need to know the difference between the accent and the register so that when we are in different environments, we can change and use the one that is most appropriate for us. Now, the good news is most of you do this already, and this is what we call code switching. Code switching is when we change and adapt the way in which we speak to match the environment. It's like being a chameleon. You change your colors so that you can fit in. But should we? And this is a question that I want us to really ponder on, and please let me know in the comments whether you think we should change the way we speak to match the different environment, or whether people should just accept us for who we are and it's on them, not on us, to change the way in which we speak. On one hand, changing our accents helps us to communicate, it helps us to fit in, and we all want to fit in, right? But on the other hand, there's a question about our identity. And should I try to change my identity to fit in with other people so that they accept me? Now, let's get a debate going. Should we change our accents to meet the different environments, or should we be proud of how we speak and it's on them to accept us for who we are? Let me know what you think. Okay, so let's go back to that original question. How do we speak properly? Well, there's a few things you might want to include to make sure that you're speaking properly. The first thing is you want to ensure that you're using formal, standard English. No slang. Not using words like riz, you get me? not using words like length. These are slang words. Maybe if you're not from that community, you might say words like mate or geezer or bruv. Those are also words of slang. So we want to drop the slang and use formal, standard English. The second way in which we can speak properly is to try to avoid contractions where we can. Avoid words like ain't, avoid words like don't. Those make you sound a little bit more formal as well. So if you want to speak properly, try to avoid the contractions where you can. The third thing is, and this is where it gets a little bit contentious because we're now talking about accent, and I'm going to leave it up to you. And it might be that you decide whether you are going to pronounce your T's, for example. Maybe you want to say better, even though at home you say better. Maybe the next thing, and this is quite tricky sometimes, is to avoid the fillers. A filler is something that we use naturally to give us time to think. A filler is a word like and ah. These words give us time to process and think about what we're saying next. They can often make us sound like we don't know what we're saying and we sound a little bit unintelligible. If you're constantly using words like, you want to drop those words. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end of the video. If you liked what you watched today, please smash the like button, hit subscribe, and tap on the notification bell so that you never miss any amazing content. I've been Mr. B, and this has been English Essentials, innit? So, hold tight.